Let's just go over some highlights from the State of the Union address on Tuesday night. Biden made war in Ukraine a major focus, of course. He spoke about the closure of U.S. airspace to Russian flights, took aim at Putin, highlighting how he's now isolated from the rest of the world more than ever. On domestic stuff, Biden addressed the economy and inflation, which is at its highest level in decades, and a major concern. I think that's the reason his polls have been plummeting. He pointed out record job gains and economic growth and praised the passage of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And with COVID measures being dialed back, he urged Americans to get back to work and get back to school.
Well,
not a moment too soon.
Not polling how it used to poll, so now it's time for all the masks to go. But listen.
Didn't have to wear it at the gym today.
As long as I think the problem, in terms of messaging, if I may, which is you can't tell everyone get back to normal, and then we see you walking across a lawn to a helicopter alone with a fucking mask on, and then you take everyone and you leave an open seat for Elijah in between the Congress, and so there's literally they're social distancing, but it's not 6 foot, it's 26 inches now, and then as soon as that's done, we all hug it out. Mm-hmm. What is the message?
Exactly.
You got it. If you're going to hug it out, then don't distance in the chamber.
Well, they're working on that. He pointed out, he praised his Supreme Court pick, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, and unified the room for a moment.
Praised his pick?
Yes. Praised her. Unified the room for a moment, calling on more funding for the police, which led to cheers from both sides. There were some heckles. The crowd got a little,
Garrigus says that
Ketanji Brown
Jackson is very well qualified.
Yeah, and apparently very well liked on both sides. And I heard, I'm going to screw it up, but NPR said she's very distantly related to Paul Ryan by marriage. So, I think she has friends everywhere and everyone really likes her, so we'll see. But there was a couple of moments. There was a chant, of course, of Build That Wall, led by Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see that either.
Can you pull it? I didn't pull it. Sorry. They're doing like a Build That Wall? Is this surprising?
No. In the state
Yes.
Is heckling a State of the Union comment? I feel like that doesn't happen.
Remember the one who was like, "You lie"? That was a couple of years ago.
That was with Obama.
But this one, you got to find the Build That Wall because they're doing a dance. It's like very sorority girl, the two of them. And
I missed that.
I was amazed at Nancy Pelosi, 81 years young. She popped out of that chair like it was spring-loaded, 17 times. I'm 57. I'm on the sofa, like, here we go. Where's my towel bar? Shit, boy, help me up. She sprung up, popped down. You don't see 81-year-olds pop. No. She popped
She's happy
up.
to be there.
Is it possible it's spring-loaded? Just a little boop?
A little ejector seat?
Yeah.
They do have those
Craftmatic
seats.
adjustable.
If you watch the shows where they advertise the bathtubs with the doors, you can also find the seat that's sort of
Craftmatic adjustable.
Is it?
Yeah, it's what's his name? The old guy who used to be
I thought that was a bed.
Art Linkletter.
I thought the Craftmatic was a bed.
I thought it was a chair that helped
Well, they
you
do
up.
have a chair that pushes you up.
I think you're both right.
But I don't know if it's the Craftmatic. The Craftmatic adjustable was the bed that sat you up.
All right. Who is Art Linkletter, by the way?
He hosted game shows or something, and maybe did Kids Do the Darndest Things or something.
I buy that.
We can find something like that.
And of course, I know you're not big for these first, but it was kind of cool to hear Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President. That's a first in American history. Is this the Build That Wall?
Yeah, you can't really hear because the microphones weren't picking it up.
But do you see the dance?
You'll see them.
Okay.
Cheer.
I didn't watch the whole thing. Why aren't the mics heated up?
Well,
everyone's.
They're doing it underneath a huge applause because Biden was talking about secure the borders, and then the mics were really around Biden.
That's not even remotely the cringiest thing that happened. This was boy.
I missed the whole thing, so please.
So toward the end of the speech, Biden turned his attention to an issue that has drawn bipartisan support, another issue, which is increased care for soldiers who've suffered from the effects of toxic exposure. And I'll play this clip for you, but as Biden talks about soldiers dying from burn pit exposure. NBC reports that Boebert yells, "You put them there," 13 of them. But all I hear is 13 of them. She's referencing the terror attack during last year's Kabul withdrawal and how chaotic that got. But I think you're only going to be able to hear her say 13 of them. But that's not the cringy part. The part is what he goes on to say if he hadn't been so rudely interrupted. So here's the moment.
Numbness, dizziness, a cancer that would put them in a flag draped coffin. I know. One of those soldiers was my son, Major Bo Biden.
So he goes on to talk about his
Marjorie
dead
Taylor
son.
Greene's like, let's talk about the other son.
Yeah, I believe that was Boebert in that instance. But like, I get it. You want everyone to hear you're making a statement, but he's trying to talk about his son who served and died. It's just bad timing.
Yes. I mean, he didn't die serving.
But he is now deceased.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a State of the Union stan. I haven't seen every minute of every one, but is heckling common? I feel like I've never seen that before.
I would call it rare, but it happened.
Okay.
It had the ULI thing
Yeah.
with Obama and Obamacare or something like that.
I don't remember.
He said, I don't know, if you
I
like
remember
your
what it
doctor,
was-
you
yeah.
can
Like your
keep your
doctor, you
doctor.
can keep it.
He was lying, by the way, to be fair to the guy, but you still let him say it.
The Couth issue. You know
Yes.
what's way more fun is the House of Commons.
That's what I was
that's
they
the best.
are fun.
Well, let's go further than the House of Commons. When you start getting into some of the third world places, they literally duke it
they
out.
throw down. Yeah.
They throw
That's
down.
true. That's true. There's
Yeah.
a couple of body slams. You're right.
I'm not a State of the Union stan. I haven't seen every minute of every one, but is heckling common? I feel like I've never seen that before.
I would call it rare, but it
Okay,
happened.
okay.
It had the ULI thing
Yeah.
with Obama and Obamacare or something like that.
I
He
remember.
said, I don't know, if you like
remember
your
what it-
doctor,
yeah.
you can
Like your
keep your
doctor, you
doctor.
can keep it.
He was lying, by the way, to be fair to the guy, but you still let him say it.